The size of the painting is basically about kind of my size, I suppose, and I think I'm sort of attracted to that size because it allows me to sort of feel like I'm placing myself within the painting, so it actually can become a kind of, you know, something that you're actually immersed within to some degree, and I find that to have some kind of parallel to the sort of cinematic screens. It's kind of a really blatantly artificial painting. It says it's a close-up of the sun, but it's obviously not. It looks like maybe it could almost borrow something from a pixelated computer image, but again, it doesn't quite go that far. It's actually more individual, more imaginary in a way that kind of acknowledges that this is something that you can't actually really express. It's something that you can't look at, you can't see the sun, and if you're going to try and portray the sun, then you're going to have to make up this very fictional language. I think with pixels, what I'm interested in is that they're a very sort of quick and easy way to contain information. That's what a pixel really is. And in the same way, I feel like you can kind of borrow something of that approach to imagery and adopt it for your own. It is called Sun Close-Up, which borrows from a sort of cinematic language. And the other painting, the Moonlight painting, again has this relationship with the cinematic to some degree, because it's the way it's framed with a sort of the draping branches around the subject of the moon is something that you can see filmmakers use in a lot of establishing shots in cinema and in TV. If they need to get a long shot of whatever's going to happen in a scene, they might have some such scene before actually going on to the drama. And I think also that sort of cinematic urge to no small degree is also then continued in the animation that I also have included in this exhibition. When I made the animation, my original interest was the idea that you could make this sort of instant, big, immersive painting. And I had the opportunity to use a space called Studio 12 at Gertrude Contemporary. And it's just quite a small little space, and I love the idea that you could use this projection and project onto this whole wall. And you know, even if you just projected just a monochrome colour at times, it could kind of fill the space. And that immersive quality I wanted to take further with a soundtrack, and basically overwhelm the space a bit and kitsch it up to no small degree. I made the video piece in 2005 when I was in my mid-20s, and it does have a more sort of stereotypically kind of youthful, angsty vibe to it, I think, which it's been really interesting for me to revisit as well and go back into that sort of headspace. Not that I was a particularly angsty 20-something, but yeah, with the language, I did kind of feel at the time that a lot of visual art was really quite reticent, and a lot of the other kind of media that we would consume, you know, such as typically in pop music, was very emotionally opulent, and I actually thought it would be an interesting and a worthwhile thing to take some of that sort of emotional intensity from one artistic language into another, and just and see what happens. So the voice, the narrative voice that emerges through the text in the video is quite unrestrained, unfiltered to some degree, and kind of veers from, you know, it's kind of sitting somewhere in this sort of doom-laden, life is terrible place, to this kind of ecstatic, we will be the victors, push through kind of sentiment. And that, I think in a lot of pop songs you do actually see a similar progression to kind of, you know, self-belief and self-actualisation, and, you know, belief in something stronger than yourself. Which, I mean, I see that as a fiction to no small degree, but I also find it something that's very seductive and attractive and really quite lovely.